This is our midweek Lenten service for March 25th. During this time of Lent, we're focusing on the theme of grace. For those of you who are not part of our congregation, we've been reading the book by Philip Yancey, What's So Amazing About Grace? So I've been using some of his topics and discussion questions as a springboard for these meditations. I want to begin today by reading some scripture and reading from Matthew chapter 16, beginning with verse 13. Now, when Jesus came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" And they said, "Some say John the Baptist, and others Elijah, and still others Jeremiah or one of the prophets." He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter answered him, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." And Jesus answered him, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." Then he sternly ordered the disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah. So my theme today about grace is that grace is countercultural. Grace and the idea of grace runs counter to everything in 21st century United States. One of the themes in Philip Yancey's book is really very Lutheran, that we are both saints and sinners, that there is good and bad in all of us. And so we think about what that means for us. We would rather have the world be black and white, clearly defined between good and evil. We sort of like, classic Western movies where there are good guys in white hats and bad guys in black hats, and that we still sort of like those themes. The Star Wars movies, critics say, were really a playoff of all of those Westerns where you had good guys and gals and bad guys and gals, and you knew who was which. To a certain extent, the Harry Potter movies are that way, although I liked some of the ambiguity in those movies. It wasn't always so clear who was on your side, who was your ally, or who was your enemy. Often, I have described my role in ministry as helping people to live in the shades of gray. My job is not to define necessarily what is good and evil, what's right and wrong, but helping us to live in the shades of gray, acknowledging that all of us are saints and sinners, that all of us stand in the need of grace. That is what I love about the disciples, especially Peter. He's a great example for us. One minute he understands and boldly proclaims that Jesus is God's Messiah, and the next minute he totally misunderstands what that means. He is a saint one minute and a sinner the next. He is the rock upon the church which the church is built, and the next minute he's a stumbling block. And we are right there with him. Some days we get it right, and some days we do not. One minute we're full of compassion and understanding, and the next minute we are small and petty. We are both saints and sinners. This is not how our culture likes to look at things. We want things to be clearly defined. We want heroes and villains. We want winners and losers, and we would like to be on the side of the winners. The truth is much more gray. We all need grace. We all need mercy. We all need God's love and forgiveness. So God comes and walks in our shoes with us. This is the teaching of the incarnation. God has come in the flesh to be with us, to walk this road with us, and to bring us grace. What a wonderful, incredible gift. It flies in the face of everything that we are taught to hold dear. Even the worst among us has something to offer, and even the best among us has faults. And God's grace comes to us all.